This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is MMA fighter Justin Sumter. Justin, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Could you just give us a brief background about yourself?
Name's Justin the Fort Sumter. I'm originally born in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and currently live in Stratford, Connecticut with my wonderful fiance and dog, Roscoe. Train with Nick Newell out of West Haven, Connecticut at Fighting Arts Academy, and I am a project manager for a construction company in Danbury, Connecticut.
For sure. That's what we're going to jump into that later, too. So I know you said you grew up in South Carolina, so how did you end up moving to Connecticut?
Well, Well, before I came up to Connecticut, I graduated from Georgia Southern University in Georgia, and I was down there about 2 years after I graduated. I was working with a roofing company, and then one of my friends I graduated with told me about this company that moves you around, and you get to see different parts of the United States, and you get to work and you get paid. And so I ended up jumping on with that company, and they the first job opportunity they gave me was like, hey, you want to go up to Connecticut? So the first thought I had was, it's pretty cold, I hear up there. So I thought about it a little bit, but I was like, I've never been up there. So, I decided to go. Been loving it ever since. Besides the cold, I've been loving it ever since.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now it's getting to that point where it's like, where's the snow? And it's coming soon. So
Yeah. You're supposed to get a big one tonight. So hopefully not too much.
Yeah. When you moved up to Connecticut, that's how you got into MMA, right?
Well, no, I was fighting ever since 2011. I think it was 11 amateur fights down in the southeast. Held 2 different titles down there. I was fighting pretty much everywhere: Florida, South Carolina, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina. So definitely was well versed. Mm-hmm. And then when I came up to Connecticut, kind of more getting fine tuned, because really there's some jiu-jitsu guys down there, but not as big as the jiu-jitsu's up there. Everyone's a little bit closer, so you can see a whole bunch of different styles, and kind of fine tune my game when I came up here, and then eventually I went pro in 2015. So
yeah, that basically answers my next question. I was going to say, how did you get into MMA? But how did you get passionate about fighting, basically?
It's not a weird story, but my one of my good friends, Nick Wesley, down in Georgia. He when I first met him, he was a real skinny guy, and he said, hey, I fight, I do MMA, and I was like, sure you do, and he said, come watch me fight, and I was like, I'll come and see it. So I watched him fight, and he beat this guy up, put him in a triangle, and put him to sleep. And I was like, I could do that. And ever since then, I started training, and I would say I started training probably May or June of 2011. And I had my first fight in July of 2011, and I was hooked ever since. And I knew that was something I really wanted to do. I put a lot of my energy in and focusing on it. Gotcha.
So you had no even boxing or any other more?
Well, I wrestled in high school.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what they really want. They wanted me to do jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And so I did my first Naga, and I got gold in my division. I was like, hey man, I really like this jiu-jitsu. And then after a month of training jiu-jitsu, they were like, hey, we got this fight. They need an opponent. I was like, hey, why not? And so I took that fight. I think it was 2 weeks notice that they said they wanted me to fight down in Florida, and I was like, hey man, took it, and rest is history.
Yeah, for sure. So it kind of just MMA kind of just fell into your lap almost.
Yeah. You mean I definitely I love competing. I love doing different things, keeping staying active. And one with wrestling, I still had that drive to be at a high level. I didn't really get to compete in college at wrestling. Yeah. But still wanted to do stuff, and someone just mentioned it. I looked into it, and
for sure, yeah, stuff just happens sometimes. And how'd you get the nickname the Fort?
Well, originally my nickname was Machine, and that I kind of coined that phrase for myself.
Yeah.
All my friends down south, if you're familiar with the Civil War, Fort Sumter is a crucial position, crucial fort that was in the Civil War, and so definitely with Georgia history, South Carolina history, it's really big. And they kept telling me, "Hey man, you should change your name to the fort." The fort. Yeah. I was like, I don't know, man. It kind of seems corny. And then right before my first pro fight with Bellator, one of my friends called me up, "Hey man, you really need to change your name to the fort." And then I thought about it, and I was like, "Hey, it kind of does ring." And so that's how the name came about.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. I think it's kind of unique.
Yeah.
And now that I know that story, now I think it's more unique. You brought up before, I know some people don't know that you actually have a daytime job. So what do you do for your daytime job?
Yeah, I'm a project manager for a construction company, Rizzo Construction, out of Danbury. So that kind of takes, when I'm not training, I'm working. So, some guys have a little bit of luxury, where, the only thing they do is train and, they work at the gym and that's kind of their thing. But, I have a bachelor's in science and civil engineering technology. We want to pay for that.
Yeah.
That piece of paper I have to work. So,
sure.
Definitely. But I like the different aspects of the job, starting the job up, making sure stuff is running properly and things like that.
For sure. You think just having that job gives you more motivation for fighting?
Yeah. Definitely. Just because, a lot of people, you see them, they just train and they're like, oh, that's all I do. I just go to the gym and train, and they're kind of have a singular focus. What my deal is fighting has a expiration date.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't fight when you're
Yeah.
Your Romero is kind of the outlier in this whole scenario, but you can't fight. Not that many people fight when they're in the 40s or past that, and so I wanted something to have a fallback plan to when I'm not fighting. If I don't make that, those millions and millions of dollars that I am going to make, but it might not happen. So I definitely have a career to fall back on and support my family.
Yeah, definitely. Always good to have a backup plan. And you made your pro debut at Bellator 153, and so it's ironic you're about to fight for Bellator coming up. And I know you lost your first fight, but then you went versus a 4-0 fighter. So what was that? How did that fight come about? You were just like, screw it, I'm taking the fight, even though the guy's 4-0.
Yeah, I still had that. I consider that fight my last amateur fight. And the reason why, even though it was professional, I got paid and all that stuff, but it was just that learning. With me being an amateur, you could tell with my fight, I wanted you to throw me in there with sharks, and I swim. My first, like I told you, my first amateur fight, that was a 2-week notice fight, and I fought a guy that was 5-0. So it was, my mentality was, hey, put me in there with the guys that are supposed to be there, and I'm trying to swim and swim effectively. So you put me in there with the sharks, and I turned out to be a bigger shark.
Yeah, I like it. You're down for the challenge.
That was my kind of mentality going into that fight. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you watch that fight, I was winning, but I just made one slight mistake. Definitely my cardio wasn't what it should have been, and I ended up losing. So I just think that as a learning experience. Even though I had to, it was a paying learning experience. I took that in and learned from it. Then strength 6 wins back to back. So
not starting off undefeated, I think that even puts less pressure on you, just because
Yeah, being undefeated, especially in MMA, it's always that, hey, someone's there to take that out. But having that one, it kind of allows you to relax a little bit and be a little bit more comfortable when you go out there.
Yeah, definitely. And then after that fight was when you started training with Nick, right? So how did that come about? How did you find Nick in the gym and stuff like that?
Well, you know what I mean? Like, so after that fight, he, like, I was walking through the, like, terminal at Bellator, and he stopped me. It was like, hey, man, you're real good. You know what I mean? I saw what you did out there. Just keep your head up. And so happened he was opening a gym kind of right up the street from where I trained before. Yep. And then, you know what I mean, I knew I wanted to be serious about the sport, and Nick's been, you know, all over the world and a world champion. So I knew, you know, if I wanted to take that next level to be a well-rounded, well-developed fighter, you know, I have to change and go to his gym.
Yeah, definitely. Again, that's great. It's crazy how stuff just like happens like that, but it's awesome.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I think it's like a it's kind of a
like a sign.
You know, positive subtraction. You know, I kind of try to keep putting positive energy out there in the world, and sooner or later, just I kind of bring about, you know, put things in front of me. You know, when they arrive, I seize the moment, and you know, it kind of compounds, and you know, sooner or later, like you see yourself in a better circumstance just because you're taking the right step, doing the right thing, and everything kind of works out that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the positive energy, just put it out there, and it comes back to you, right?
Yeah.
And after that, you went 5-0, and then you got the fight with the Dana White Contender Series. I know you had a tough opponent that was a LFA champ, and you ended up losing. But like, what was that whole experience like?
Yeah, it was a good experience. You know, I mean, just to be out there and to you know, be face to face with Dana and you know, see that kind of environment that, you know, I know I belong there. You know what I mean? It just, you know, just so happened that the cards really didn't fall in my favor. Mm-hmm. But you know, I mean, I'm not taking it as a setback, more of a setup.
Yeah.
Something better. You know,
yeah,
I was just thankful for the opportunity. You know,
yeah, definitely.
You know, definitely, I made a couple mistakes in the fight, and you know, I learned from that, and you know, seeing him be successful at the high level, you know, with his last fight, it really put a feather in my cap, and like, hey, you know what I mean? I know I can beat that guy, and I just got to get in there and prove it again. So I'm just anxious to, you know, get this fight over with, to get another one, and kind of be back where I was, to be back on that show. So
yeah, definitely. And so speaking of that, so all this comes back full circle. You're about to be back in Bellator 216, February 16th. And is that like crazy that it was like your first fight on Bellator, and now this is like your big fight right now coming up on Bellator again?
Yeah. You mean like I really wanted to kind of, you know, have my second fight in Bellator a little bit sooner, but you know, I mean, this is just how things roll. Yeah. So you know, just be back there, you know, with all of my experience, all the fights that I've had, and everything I've learned, it feels even better to step back in there and know that, you know, I'm well prepared, mm-hmm. Well developed, and just ready to showcase my skills.
Yeah. Do you know who your opponent is yet?
Yeah, my opponent is Reginaldo Felix, mm-hmm. Out of Massachusetts, I believe. I forget what camp he's out of, but that's the proposed opponent.
Gotcha. What's his record?
He's 5-2.
Okay, so it's gonna be a good matchup then.
Yeah. I think he's like ranked number 4 in the region. So definitely a good opponent, well-rounded. So it should definitely be a good test for me. For sure.
And it's going to be on DAZN, right? You're going to be on TV?
I believe so. I'm not too sure. I don't like know the whole DAZN thing right as of yet. I'm still trying to get up to date on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on it. I don't know if they're showing the whole card on DAZN or not, but I feel like they are, but I'm not 100% positive. So don't take my word on that.
Yeah.
And so what can we expect to see from you February 16th?
You know, just being well-rounded, calm, collective, and you know, just going to impose my will. You know, I mean, a lot of people they kind of want to see that, you know, me back to my old ways of knocking people out. But, you know, I'm just going to, you know, take this one easy and you know, just impose my will, put them in bad spots, and the rest will show.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel that all these like Connecticut fighters are getting big opportunities to shine now? Now I know 3 people that you train with, or 2 other people that you train with, are get on the Bellator cards with Mike Kimball and Jesse.
Yeah, no, it feels great, man. It really and the funny thing about it is, as of late, I've been seeing a lot of people that I've been training with personally get in the limelight and getting that stepping up to that next level and being showcased by these top organizations. Got some well-known guys fighting in the UFC. I got my both friends, Glover Teixeira and Carl Robinson. They're fighting each other.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a great fight between them. Not picking sides, but just seeing people that I'm training with on the top level, people that I'm training with are getting to the top level. So it's a real things are on the rise, especially for New England MMA. Yeah. And just my circle, people that I deal with are definitely rising. So
yeah, for sure. I just keep on seeing it all over. I'm just like, this is crazy because it's just like all around us and everyone's doing big things and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you ready for some fun questions?
Yeah.
All right. So what are your goals for 2019?
2019. First goal is to have a healthy baby.
Yeah, congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah, have a healthy big baby. It's going to be a big one.
Big fort.
But to have to finally be married to my wonderful fiance, and to make more money. I guess that's what she said. So,
I'll take it.
Have a go undefeated this year.
Yeah, for sure. Get some wins.
And get a new car. Get a new car.
All right, I'll take it. And what do you like to do in your free time when you're not training or working?
I like to do stuff around the house.
You build stuff?
I like just building things. I got a barn in my back, where kind of like a wood shop. Just like to try to build furniture. I haven't really made anything substantial as of yet, but I got some plans in my head that I got to work through. So hopefully after this fight, I can spend a little bit more time back there just tinkering and building things.
For sure. How about this scenario question? If you were to create an app, what kind of app would it be?
If I had to create an app.
Making you think here.
Well, I would make an app for just dealing with a pregnant fiance. It would be a way to where you'd be able to scan a barcode, and it would tell you if this product is all right for a baby, or all right for a pregnant lady. Because they don't really have that, I don't think. Yeah. And that'll make her life extremely easier. All
right, there you go. And what's on your music playlist right now? Yeah,
I have Archie, We Ready. It's a down south song. And then I have some T.I., J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and some Big Crit in there.
All right. And last one, what's the biggest difference from living down south to up north now?
I would say politeness.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. I'd say all women up here aren't not polite, but just politeness.
Yeah, for sure. And where can people find you on social media, and if you want to shout out anybody and stuff like that?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram at Fort Sumter MMA, as well as Twitter with the same handle. Mm-hmm. Or you can go on Facebook, my athlete page, Justin the Fort Sumter. Also, I would like to make a shout out to my management, Top Game Management, Nick Newell, Fighting Arts Academy, Wash and Wag, Pet Grooming Foundation, Supplement, and Redwood Coast CBD water.
All right, appreciate you coming on, and good luck February 16th.